Hi, everybody. It's Linda Ockwell-Jenner here, President of Motivational Steps, and I'm very happy today to be partnering with lovely Sharon Bennett. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I am fine. And Sharon, I didn't say who you were representing today in regards to a business or a company because I wanted you to, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Sure. I'm Sharon Bennett. I've been in IT about 25 years now, and I'm currently an instructor with LinkedIn Learning, focusing on Azure and Office 365. And my side passion is helping young women get into tech and then to keep them there.
And that's how we ended up here today, isn't it? So I'm so excited. We are going to be talking about why young women should consider a career in tech. And you and I were on another show together, my other show, the Small Business Show, and you did a great talk on the show with another guy who happens to be, as you know, my business partner husband. And we said to ourselves, we've got to take this further. We've got to do a video series. So this is the beginning of it. So Sharon, why should more women consider a career in tech? Why should more young women in particular consider a career in tech? I mean, you've got the answers. I'd like to know a bit more.
Well, actually, career in tech is fabulous for a variety of reasons. First, it's an excellent salary. Us in tech, we can do okay. That being said, there are the realities, and women in tech tend to make about $20,000 less than our male counterparts for the same work, but it's still a great salary. We have flexible working hours. I work from home. It's fantastic. I can pick my hours that I want to work. If I have to take my children to appointments, I can easily do so. Mm-hmm. I get to travel all over North America, which is fantastic. A couple of other key points when we're talking about women in tech is it's an incredibly challenging career. Technology changes incredibly quickly. And so if you love to learn and you like to always be up to date, going into tech is a great option.
So you've listed some amazing points about why women, particularly younger women, should be thinking about a career in tech. But what alerted my sirens, going off was, why would a woman earn less than a man doing the same work? I presume you were talking about the same kind of work. Why would that happen?
I think it's unfortunately just the industry and what has happened over the last several years. That is changing, and I'm glad to say that it is changing. It's a little slow, but we are seeing a little bit more parity. It's not great, but it's better than it was.
So how did it ever start off, if you've got the answer, you might not, where they weren't, the same level? I mean, did somebody just decide that a woman wasn't good enough in tech to do the same job? I don't know.
That is one point. There has been some speculation that that's what it was. Another was that you're being paid. You should be happy with what you're being paid with. I know it's another statement that I've read, and one of the other ones is you're not going to be here anyways because you're going to go off and have children.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. So, and isn't it wonderful today? Men do get paternity leave. So, how does that work out for them? Is their salary cut? I'm not even going to go there. So you did say there is job security. So a woman wouldn't lose the job if they did decide to go on maternity leave, or is that a bit of a broad question?
It's a broad question, and that's a great topic on its own. And we do call it the motherhood penalty. The nice thing is that because technology is always changing, and because now a lot of what we can do is remote, we don't have to actually step away like we used to if we don't want to.
Yeah.
We can, still maintain that connection to the office, to the industry. And it's also a good time to get caught up on your skill set. And that's what I did with my children. I took my maternity leave and I studied and furthered my career during that time frame.
That's very clever. Now, when should the younger women in particular start thinking about this career? Grade school, high school? Does it depend on the woman in particular or the young adult?
You can start whenever you want. If you see your daughter having a passion for engineering and building and Lego and bricks, it'd be a great time to start introducing her into technology, whatever that is. If it's, using circuit boards, if it's, Raspberry Pi devices, coding. Definitely get them started and then encourage them to stay in it. It sometimes can get a little bit hard in the younger grades. Unfortunately, young girls can see the gender biases immediately as they start school.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it can get really hard, and not hard for them to maintain that, but hard to move forward when they see that gender bias. If you're in high school, definitely keep going forward, and embrace it. And now high schools have, female-only coding classes.
I was going to ask, is the support in the school for the young girls to actually do this? And if there is any kind of abuse or bullying, I mean, do they recognise that immediately? It's not ignored?
I think it will depend on the school. I also think a lot has to do on the gender bias of the teacher.
Yeah.
And they may not be aware of that bias that they have. And there's studies that actually show that teachers do have a gender bias at these young grades. Uh-huh. So that's something we need to be aware of as educators and as parents.
In my day, I wouldn't have had a chance because, I wasn't a very good student, and I had to do needlework, and I'd still not made this dress by the time I graduated high school, and nobody cared. Nobody, just sit in the corner and be quiet. I was a very demotivated student because there wasn't help for people like me. So in those days, what tech was that? I don't think there was a lot of tech. Some of my children are interested in tech, obviously, my husband. What I find interesting, you were sharing with me, there's no line up in the washroom. Now, surely that could change today with this genderless society that's been, created or foisted on us, whatever you like to say. So is that a thing of the past? Didn't you say you just went to a conference and there was no line up in the washroom for the females?
No. So, on my Twitter feed, that's actually something I do. I go to conferences and I take pictures of empty washrooms. And people go, you can't do that. It's like, yeah, I can. There's nobody here. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to see that change in my career. Maybe in the next career. But unfortunately, I hate to be the downer here, but it's not going to happen soon. And that's partly because we have what they call a pipeline problem, because we don't have enough young students or young females coming through the system. And even if they come through the system, there's no guarantee they're going to continue. And that's a whole nother show all in itself on why they leave tech. I
also think that it's a good thing and a bad thing in a way that a lot of people are picking up on this, especially the females already in tech, because I was in an event and I think I told you about it, and they were actually talking about this topic, and one person said, well, come and see me afterwards if you've got a daughter who's interested in tech. And in a way, it's a little bit naive if your daughter's not with you to say, yeah, my daughter's interested, how can you help her? And a couple of moms who were there actually was swarmed by so many people in the room saying, your daughter should do this, your daughter should that, your daughter should do the other, and they're definitely guaranteed a job here and guaranteed a job there. And I felt that was very overwhelming and maybe not so true. No one in that room could guarantee any of that, I don't think. So I think in a way it's good that we're raising awareness, but we shouldn't really assume either our daughters are going to go that way, or be that they're guaranteed a job. Would that make any sense to you?
Yes, there is no guarantee. It's like anything. You go into your first year of post-secondary and you go, I hate this, or this, I'm not cut out for this. And definitely they can move and do something different. And we see that a lot. As for employment, we have a huge shortage of skills in IT right now.
Definitely. But I felt that at this event in particular, there were so many people offering to help and offering all these different ideas. I think it could be quite overwhelming, if not for the parent, but for the young female who says, well, do I do this? Do I do that? Because you've mentioned a few things that are coming up next, like artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things. So would a young female, in the high school today, be looking primarily at this, you know, artificial intelligence and Internet of Things versus what would they have been looking at 5-10 years ago? Can they still do the same things that, say, the normal, you know, IT related, or does it have to be all the new stuff? What's machine learning? I know Dave's got somebody at one of his offices, a lovely young lady who's just got, is it a PhD, something like that? And she's really into machine learning. Is that what these young females should be looking at, or can they start small and work into that?
Well, they can definitely start small and work into it. And again, IT is not just one little box. It's huge, whether it be security, infrastructure, cloud, apps, you know, artificial intelligence, IoT. It's the Wild West right now. And, you know, they can take that skill set that they have and they can port it around. And they may love doing IoT in healthcare and then move IoT into another discipline or another silo of some sort. So they have the ability to move and to grow and to change. And if you're in IT, doesn't matter, you know, which industry and which field, you need to keep up. And that's the big trick to it. As long as you're willing to keep learning and never stop, then you're pretty well guaranteed a nice income and a good, solid career.
So would you say, though, that all these choices are available to the students still at school to say, well, explore all these different choices, but you don't have to start, say, with, you know, IoT or something. You could start with something else and then work your way up through continuous learning and gaining mentors and stuff like that. It's not just a stagnant career, is it?
No, it is not. And if it becomes stagnant, then your career options will be limited. You can't let it go stagnant. And that really is the trick. So
you listed some benefits for me because I don't work in your world. I'm a motivational speaker, for goodness sake. So you said when you work remotely, there's a lot of benefits to it. Like, you know, did you mention naps? You can have a nap whenever you like, which I think you need. But do you think the culture then would be easier for a female in tech because they're not in the office? But then what happens when they have a team meeting? Is it still easy to fit in if you're not, you know, if you're working remotely and you're not with the guys in particular? Do you think it's harder to then fit into their kind of ways or friendships or, you know, team?
It is. It's definitely different when everything is completely remote. I work completely remotely. That being said, I still have face-to-face communications like we are doing right now with my managers and my team. And then the company itself is really good about making sure we get together a couple times a year. And that's when we have our team building. And then because, you know, you have those side conversations, you see what's going on in the company. And that's really important. You still have to make sure you're part of the team. Otherwise, your career could stagnate and it can get really lonely.
Now, I guess I don't really need to know an exact number, but you've got quite a few females, you know, at your organisation, I'm guessing.
In my actual team, no, I am the only one.
Okay, but as we said earlier, it's really difficult to find someone to fulfil the job vacancy. Dave, as I say, finds it difficult in Montreal. I think he only has one female, and he told you this when he was on the show. And it's not through not wanting to hire females, because I wouldn't like a female to be hired at any age if they couldn't actually do the job. You know, just because they're a female, I don't think they should be hired. I mean, is that good enough? You know, is that good to say? Is that a bit controversial?
No, and I think that's fair. I think anybody needs to be hired on merit, whether it's male, female, or anybody in between. It's on the merit. It's not who you know. It's not who you went to school with. It's can you do the job.
So is that definitely doesn't happen at all in tech? Then it's not that, you know, maybe a male-dominated team is looking to hire someone and they would hire a female because, you know, of the relationship, as long as they could do the work. Would it be easier if the relationship was already there, do you think? Or
Oh, I totally think it makes a huge difference if the relationship is already there. Uh, I'm not, again, I'm very fortunate with the company that I work for, but I have seen other companies where they're hiring friends and they're hiring the people they know. And when you do that, you lack diversity.
That's a really, really good point. This is where I always encourage this age group to find mentors and also network within the school, and also outside of the school, network to get to know people, to gain mentors, because that way it opens up your world. I never think it's too early, to be networking. You've made some fantastic points, and it does worry me that there's still not enough women in tech, and this is why we wanted to offer this video series. I know we're going to be doing some more, as I say, over the next few days, but what advice would you give to anyone really, male or female, who are still at school and want to get into the techie world? Education, keep educating yourself, and obviously they've got to love what they do, haven't they? They've got to really be passionate about it.
Yes, they definitely have to be passionate, and then explore. Be curious, get dirty, build things, take chances.
Be curious. Do you think you're curious and this helps you with your work?
Totally. By nature, and a lot of females feel this way, we want to help. And technology can really fill that gap because we can help build and create products, solutions, services that fix things.
And don't concentrate on if it's going to be a good salary, because if you've got a good salary and you don't like the work, it's not going to happen, is it? So a good salary is great as long as you've got a passion for the work. I think we've made some excellent points. Did you want to leave us with anything before we close, Sharon? Any kind of tips for this part of the series?
Well, if you're a parent of a young child, a young girl who wants to get dirty, who wants to play, encourage her. Let her get dirty. Let her make mistakes. Let her fail. Let her get hurt. That's how we learn.
Oh, I think that's wonderful, to leave us with that. And we will be back, Sharon, with another video in this series, and we're going to be talking about another topic. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to see what we're going to be talking about next.
Me too. Thank you.